Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including major concerns for William Regal, Stone Cold shuts down WWE return match, WrestleMania card leaked, the Hardy Boyz retiring, controversial name going into the WWE Hall of Fame, plus much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get into our first story. Major health concerns for William Regal. Our top story takes a look at some unfortunate news relating to wrestling legend William Regal. According to Dave Meltzer, there are serious health concerns surrounding Regal, and his comments on AEW Dynamite relating to not having much time left are linked to these health issues. Meltzer would state, "Regal mentioned about having limited time left and it freaked people out. While Regal openly in his autobiography and in public appearances has talked extensively about substance abuse issues that nearly killed him a generation ago, that basically killed his career until he and Chris Benoit had a great match at the Brian Pillman Memorial Show one year, and he was so good it renewed interest in him and he worked for WWE for a long period of time after being brought back. Apparently, Regal's health issues at this stage are far more serious than have ever come out, and there is an interview that will be released next week that he did for Talk is Jericho that will detail them. Fans are going to have to wait until Regal shares more details surrounding his health to find out more information, and hopefully, Regal will be okay. We here at Wrestlelamia wish Regal all the best in what must no doubt be a difficult time." William Regal apologizes. Speaking of William Regal, this week's edition of AEW Dynamite featured his aforementioned in-ring promo. This promo received widespread praise by fans, and it was labeled as the highlight of the entire show. Although Regal's promo was well received, Regal sadly went over his allocated time for his promo, meaning the time of other matches on the show was cut. Regal would take to Twitter to publicly apologize for going over his allotted time. Regal tweeted, "This is a professional note from me, as I have no other form of social media and would rather my new colleagues see this, as I don't like gossip. I am very sorry to everyone affected by my time issues last night. I apologize to everyone personally affected. I should be showing people by example and being a pro and hitting my times." Regal continues to be a class act, and he is without a doubt one of the most important signings that AEW have made since their inception. Regal has formed an alliance with Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley, and the storyline AEW is presenting is one of the most exciting and unique storylines on the entire show. Stone Cold Steve Austin shoots down WWE plans. Early rumors for WrestleMania stated that Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to wrestle in a featured match. We now know that isn't the case, and Austin will instead be appearing on the KO show. According to Dave Meltzer, Austin shot down the idea to have a match at WrestleMania, instead opting for a fight sequence with Owens. This means that although Austin won't be having an actual match at WrestleMania, he will be getting physical, which will no doubt delight the fans in attendance. WrestleMania card leaked. WrestleMania is just a few weeks away, and thanks to Dave Meltzer, we now know the rest of the card. Finn Balor is set to defend the US title against Damian Priest. RK Bro will defend the Raw tag titles against the Street Profits and potentially the Alpha Academy. On the SmackDown side, the Usos are set to defend their tag titles against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. In relation to the women, Natalya is set to find a partner and join the women's tag team title match, making it a fatal four-way showdown. Seth Rollins vs. Cody Rhodes is also set to feature on the show, that's if Cody agrees to rejoin WWE in time for WrestleMania. NXT stars to be called up. Braun Breaker has been one of WWE's hottest young stars since he burst onto the scene in NXT. The 24-year-old made his Raw debut on this week's edition of WWE's flagship show, and it's believed that Vince McMahon was extremely impressed with what Breaker offered. It's been reported by Dave Meltzer that a call-up for Breaker is likely to take place in the very near future. Meltzer's report in relation to Breaker's call-up is supported by the fact that Breaker lost the NXT title to Dolph Ziggler in a triple threat match this week, which certainly opens the door for him to make the jump to either Raw or SmackDown. Meltzer adds that Gable Steveson is also expected to receive the call-up, so it looks like WWE is looking to freshen up the respective rosters. If this report is correct, how do you reckon Breaker and Steveson will do on the main roster? Let us know in the comments below. John Cena's new WWE project revealed. John Cena is back, just not in the way fans would expect. Cena has produced a brand new WWE Network series simply titled WWE Evil. The aim of the series is to take a closer look at some of WWE's most iconic villains. The official synopsis for the highly anticipated series reads, "Created and hosted by John Cena, the 8-part docuseries is the latest expansion of WWE programming on Peacock and the first ever original from WWE Studios. Taking an unprecedented look inside the psyche of the most diabolical antagonists in WWE, the series unveils the superstar's impact on mainstream culture." Names involved in the series include Sasha Banks, The Miz, Stephanie McMahon, Hulk Hogan, and Roman Reigns. WWE Evil will debut on the WWE Network on March 24th. AEW to revisit classic WWE feud. Jeff Hardy finally made his AEW debut this week, and fans, as well as Jeff, are looking ahead to potential feuds for the former WWE champion. According to Jeff, he is excited to revisit his feud with CM Punk. During a Signed by Superstars interview, Jeff stated, "Very excited, there is so much history there." Jeff and Punk had an infamous rivalry in WWE back in 2009. The two would feud over the world title, and the feud heavily involved Jeff's personal life. Would you like to see AEW revisit the feud between Jeff and Punk? Let us know in the comments below. The Hardy Boyz retiring? Some more news in relation to Jeff Hardy now, specifically Jeff and Matt Hardy, collectively known as the Hardy Boyz. Matt has signed an AEW contract extension, which will see him able to perform along with his brother Jeff. According to Matt, this is going to be the final run of the Hardy Boyz, and he believes that AEW is the most appropriate place to have this run. It is a possibility that once their respective contracts are done, both sail off into the sunset together, hanging up their boots for the final time. For the time being, the Hardy Boyz are all elite, and the fans are no doubt excited to see the exciting tag team matches that the duo will have in a brand new promotion. Controversial name entering the WWE Hall of Fame. The 2022 Hall of Fame is truly stacked, with names such as The Undertaker and Vader already confirmed as inductees. According to Dave Meltzer, the Steiner brothers could be joining the legendary names in the WWE Hall of Fame this year. In relation to Rick Steiner, his relationship with WWE is great, as his son Braun Breaker is a huge star in NXT. In relation to Scott Steiner, things have notoriously been terrible between Scott and WWE, and at one point, he was outright banned from WWE. Meltzer states that if Scott accepts, he will be inducted. No doubt, Scott's speech will make for some interesting viewing. AEW star asks Cody Rhodes to return. Our final story today takes a look at a current AEW wrestler asking Cody Rhodes to return to the company. Yesterday, Ty Conti took to Twitter and tweeted, "Hey, add Cody Rhodes at the Brandy Rhodes, when y'all coming back? You left all the haters to me and Sammy Guevara, huh?" Cody responded in a classy manner, offering some words of wisdom to one of AEW's brightest stars. "Mediocrity loves company, and when you're underrated, everybody is your friend. Just do the work like y'all do, wear the crown, and smile. It's still the best sport, the best fans, and ultimately, it's all worth it." Cody's status is still in a state of flux. WWE reportedly wants Cody to wrestle Seth Rollins at WrestleMania in 3 weeks, but there are no updates in relation to whether Cody has agreed to return to the company. It's possible that Cody enjoys the time off and decides to join WWE following WrestleMania 38. There you have it, folks, the wildest news, stories, and rumors you need to know. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time, back for some more wrestling content.